Hey guys, welcome to Red's Projects. Today, XG is on, and that is because I have done my 500k run-in period that I set for myself. It's been on the road for a couple months now, had no real problems, goes great. Been on the dyno, everything's been good. So today it'll be getting its first service, and it's time to add some boost to this. I really didn't want to put a turbo on it because I've already got two turbo cars, but I'm putting a turbo on it. It is going to be different to how you would normally do it. I've actually done like 90% of the fab work already, so it's going to be really easy, real quick and easy to put the turbo on this. At the same time, I'm going to be putting Holley EFI onto it. I've got that. I've got most of the stuff for that, besides some plumbing for the fuel system. So this should be pretty straightforward and easy. So the best thing for me to do is to get all the turbo stuff. I'll lay it out on the ground and it'll make a lot more sense. All right, I have everything laid out in the ground. A lot of pipes. That's because I'm going to do a rear mount, or technically a mid mount. So I've got this pipe in here already with the braces and the mounts and that. Turbo goes on here, wastegate goes there. It gets fed from the Y pipe, which will be this guy over here. This bolts onto my exhaust I've got currently. Comes up, comes into that pipe. Wastegate's there for it. Turbo, I went with a China S475 T6, so 75 mil on this side and an 88 on the back. Not the best, but I do like the Borg Warner 400 series turbos. I just think they're pretty cool. Have a big 5-inch dump pipe that it'll make more sense once it's together, but coming out the turbo, go through that big gaping hole in the floor. Then I have two tailpipes I can use. One of them goes from 5 down to 4, goes through both the mufflers, goes into this nice oval section. And it actually looks like a proper exhaust tip as well. Then I have this 5-inch straight pipe that will just be for when I race it, just to take the weight off and obviously make it louder. This is the only bit of fabrication I have to do. I have to mount this. I have to put some hangers or some sort of exhaust hangers to hold that up. Otherwise, everything else is done. Then from turbo to the front of the motor, we have these stainless pipes. This one goes, or both of these go through the interior. And then I have a elbow with a 92 mil throttle body that goes onto my manifold. And my manifold already has the holes for injectors, so I just bought the rails. And that's another thing I have to do is plumb the fuel system. So I've got the pumps and everything. That shouldn't be much work. It's just getting some fittings and making it work. But yeah, basically everything. And like I said, 90% of it's fabricated already, so just be a matter of bolting it all up. That's about it. I'll start bolting some of this stuff up, and then the first thing I'm going to be doing is the oil lines, because I want to keep the motor, keep the motor the way it is, and just sort out the oil lines, make sure I get oil to the turbo, make sure I can pump oil back to the motor. Once that part of it's sorted, then all the exhaust stuff can go on, and then the pipe through the intake, and then I can do the EFI conversion. Take the MSD off, put the Holley terminator on, get that running, and then go do burnouts basically. So let me get some stuff bolted up and we'll talk again. All right, made some good progress today. Just bolted the turbo up. That will have to come back off. I got to get some studs for it. Wastegate's bolted on permanently. You can see my screamer pipe pops out down there, which is kind of cool. I put the dump pipe on just so you get an idea of how it's going to look back here. The O2 bung. Oil return, I've got the tank down there, which I need to bolt down. Scavenge pump, need to bolt down as well, and wire. But I want to get that bolted down, and then I'm going to put hard lines in. I'm going to put hard lines in for the oil return. So it'll be alloy hard lines. So I'll run that from the scavenge pump back to the sump, and then run an oil feed from the motor to the turbo. And then once that side of it's done, then I can start it, run it, make sure I got good oil flow to the turbo, make sure I got oil returning pretty well, and that's what I want to try and get done in this episode. So I'll continue on the weekend. I'll see you then. All right, been working away for a couple hours. I thought I'd give a quick update. Turbo is bolted down 100% now. Gasket's in. I've got studs and nuts and everything, so that's not coming back off. Same with the dump pipe. I bolted the mount up. That's bolted on, not coming back off. Wastegate, I did that all yesterday. Oil tank's bolted down now as well. Oil line's done for it. Pump's bolted down. The line going to and from it is done. That goes down to the hard line down there, which I was using alloy hard line, just anodized black. See, I've got that coming along the rail, dodging things and weaving in and out, and it goes under there and then pops out just over here. Where is it? There, where my oil return is just on the other side of the oil filter. So I'm going to leave that off for now because I want to see oil come out of that. I basically want to flush all the lines out, and I want to see oil coming out of it before I hook it up to the sump, so that I know that the system's working. But I'm going to do the pressure side of it now, which I've got basically the same as this. I've got 200 series -4 line, 4 I think, pretty sure it's 4, with 200 series of PTFE line, same colors and everything as that. So I'm going to run that from the motor to the turbo, and then we're probably going to fire it up, make sure we'll flush the feed line out first so I don't pump anything into the turbo, make sure we get oil coming out of that, then feed it through the turbo, make sure it goes into the drain, and then put power to the pump, make sure we flush that line out as well, make sure we get oil coming out of the drain at the front of the car, and then I'll make the short little line and put it back into the sump. All right, I've got the oil line, the oil feed for the turbo, cut to length, routed all the way back and secured to the return line. Just want to pump some oil through it to flush the line and make sure that we are physically getting oil out of it. So let's just quickly fire it up. Alright, we've got oil coming through that. So I'll bolt that onto the turbo now, and then we'll pump some oil through the turbo. Alright, you probably won't be able to see that much, but oil feed is on. And if you look right here, I've taken the plug out of that tank. I'm probably going to set up a breather on the tank anyway to make oil flow a bit nicer, but basically going to run it for a little bit and make sure that that tank fills up, either with it overflowing and making a big mess, or just using a zip tie or something to check, like a dipstick. It's definitely getting oil pumped through the turbo, so that's a good thing. Now I've just got to probably hook up some wires to the pump and get some oil pumped back to the front. All right, I wired up the oil pump. It's a little rough, I'm going to tidy it up later. I actually used the circuit I was using for the nitrous fuel pump. So when I had nitrous on it, I had a little Holy Blue back there, so I was using the wiring from that. So that's easy. Got the big size wires and I got a good relay and everything, so that was easy. And I've got a line, I've got a container down here. So basically I'll let it idle for a little bit. I put some extra oil into the tank to help prime it and help the pump suck it through. So just going to let it idle for a little bit so it gets some oil flowing through the turbo, and then put the scavenge pump on, and hopefully it ends up in the container and I'll know that the system works. So I'll get you set up on a tripod and we'll give it a go. that pump worked extremely well, better than I expected. So what I did, I left the cap off the top there. I said I filled that tank up pretty much all the way with clean engine oil. And I let it idle until it overflowed. So you can see the oil there. It filled up, came out the top. Then I turned the pump on, and you can see from the video just previously, I'm guessing I did, it basically dumped it straight into the container like instantly. You could hear the pump, it go like straight away. It probably took a couple seconds, and then it was starting to pump air. So that worked really, really well. Happy about that. I'll plumb that line into the sump. Alright, just a quick little shot of the finished oil lines. So, got our hard line, braided, and then into the sump. Nice. And then tomorrow I'm probably going to put the Y pipe on so the exhaust actually goes through the turbo, and let it run and idle for a while and make sure the lines get warm, like it is actually circulating oil like it should. That will pretty much do it for this episode. Bolting turbo on, getting the oil system 95% done. And hopefully tomorrow we'll actually spin the turbo and make some cool noises. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.